Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mandala Effect. Today's going to be an interesting one. I don't quite know where we're going to end up, but what I've been called to speak about it are the highs and the lows of money and our money journey, our money story, our money experience, based on the women I'm speaking to, based on the group coaching program that I have just put together, based on the stuff that brings up for me. You know, I'm human. Everybody has money shit. And if they tell you that they don't, then they're either lying or they've done a lot of work. And because we're all programmed a certain way around to believe certain things about money, to react around money in a certain way. Some of it we're aware of, some of it's unconscious, most of it's probably unconscious. And how we believe about what we believe about money is probably what we believe about a lot of things in life. And we will see our money patterns and stories affect how we live life, affect how we chase our dreams, affects how we show up in our relationships. It will affect your conversations. It will affect the experiences you allow yourself to have in this world. One of the things I'm most passionate about in this, in my own life, is helping people understand that they are already free and that you just have to choose to follow that freedom, and that we are only the limitations that we place on ourselves. And the biggest, one of the biggest limits that people have is around money. And I know this because I have been there. I have experienced most people's, or a lot of people's probably, like, worst fears around money. And I have been to the very depths. So I believe that I can speak about some of this stuff and share some of this stuff in the hopes that whoever's listening, will be able to relate and understand that we need to start viewing money a different way. We need to start changing our relationship to money if we ever want to be free in this lifetime, if we ever want to experience what this beautiful life has to offer without limits, without kind of living life as society has told you have to. I know people who have lived a life society has told them they've had to, and they're old now and they've said they would never do that again. And, how many people do we hear of who go to their deathbed saying, I wish I'd done this differently. I wish I'd lived in the moment more. I wish I got on that boat. I wish I did this thing. I wish I did that, but what they did instead was work every day for somebody else, get married and have children, and just live this life that society has told us we have to live. So we really need to start questioning our beliefs, questioning what we're told, questioning how we live our life. We have free will in this world. We get to choose what we do. Nobody's making you go to that job every day. Nobody's making you work with those clients. Nobody's making you do anything. You have free will to choose how you want to live this life. No one's making you be unhealthy. No one's making you be poor or live in lack or feel like you don't have enough or be in debt. Nobody's making you do that apart from yourself. Unfortunately, it's the parts of yourself that you're not aware of. It's the parts of yourself, the subconscious mind, and the bits that we push away into our shadow. That's what's controlling it. But you listening to this, anybody listening to this, have an opportunity to make that change and to make changes in your life that you wouldn't believe possible. And when you start to make these changes and you start to kind of dig around in the unconscious and what your unconscious beliefs are and what your limiting beliefs are, and reprogramming that and becoming one with your whole self, embracing and integrating your shadow, then you can really begin to create a life that most people never will, because they'll never be brave enough to do it. But it's, if you're listening to this, you're probably being called to embark on a journey towards a bigger life, a journey towards living a life as your whole true self. But we can't do that until we change our relationship with a lot of things, with ourselves, mostly with our unconscious mind. And that also means with money. So if I ask you to bring to your mind your favourite, most ecstatic money memory, what is it? And really feel the high that it brought you. Really, really, really lean into that. And then what about the lows? What about the lows of money that you've experienced? The depths of your financial journey. Maybe it was like, I don't know, being made redundant or fired from a job, or the debt that you might have on credit cards, a student loan. Maybe you've had a house repossessed. Maybe you lost loads of money. Maybe maybe there's been an illness or something that you couldn't control that meant you had to use money differently and there wasn't enough available to you. So many people have different experiences with money, and I've called this the highs and the lows of money, but really they're just experiences. Not one of them is high or low apart from the story and the emotion that we placed around it. So if somebody's in debt, then what story are you placing around that debt? If you suddenly got your dream contract and you've made 6 or 7 figures on that, what does that say about you? Equally, both of those things actually don't mean anything apart from the story that we attach to it, and the experience itself is a reflection of where your internal reality is. So it's a reflection of where your unconscious mind is. We're manifesting this reality, we're creating this reality with our mind, and 95% of what we're creating is from the unconscious mind, which is why it's so important to make the unconscious conscious. Because if you keep on experiencing a certain pattern with money, there's something in your unconscious mind that you're not aware of. Like, this is why manifesting doesn't always work, because you're actually manifesting your reality from your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind. So whilst you might be visualizing yourself driving the Porsche every day, it's not going to make a difference if unconsciously you actually don't believe it, or even worse, unconsciously you don't want it. Because what comes with having all of this money? More responsibility? Do you suddenly fit in with your friendship group anymore? What do people say about you? Is there a fear of judgment of having money? There is so much woven into the tapestry of our money story, and it is really, really time that we step up and change it. So the highs and lows of money, I've been called to speak about this because of, like I've mentioned, some of my own experiences, and I've seen some similar patterns in my life. I have dug into what my parents' patterns are. I've had a look at my grandparents and where their patterns have come from to understand my own patterns around money, my spending habits, my saving habits, I've had recurring debt. I know that I have spent money in the past to make myself happy. Like, I know what I have attached to money in the past and how that has created, moments in my past, parts of my present, and until I make it conscious and make changes, parts of my future as well. And the stories that I have had around money have really, really, really affected my life. They've affected my mental health. They've affected my business. They've affected moments that I could be enjoying, but I'm not, because I'm worried that I'm not making money. Like, this is me 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I was absolutely working myself into the ground just to earn money, and to earn money to believe that I was successful, to earn money to pay off debt, to earn money I was chasing money, I was scrambling, and I was so unhappy. And it meant me pushing a lot away, a lot of joy away, a lot of myself away. I didn't really know who I was, because I was this girl. I had an image that I had it all, and I had an image that I lived this high life in London, and that I was uber successful and, you know, living it up, and that, you know, to a certain extent was true, but the reality was that I was working myself into the ground to get there, and I still didn't believe that I was enough. I had so much of my own self-worth attached to money. It has led to, like in the past, I've been so in debt that I haven't been able to cope, and that I've needed bailing out. This is, and for me, that, you know, they're some of the lower points of my financial journey. And I believe that, you know, I placed a lot of shame on myself around this, around things that have happened in my money life. I've placed a lot of shame on myself, thinking that I'm a bad person because this thing happened, thinking that I should have done something different, that I should have been more responsible. And these stories that we tell ourselves around the low points and the high points, but at the minute we'll look at the low points, the stories that we tell ourselves around the low points of our money journey of our life, like what are they? Because they're the emotions and the stories that you need to heal. Actually, when you're looking at money, it's not money that you need to heal. It's not money that you need to try and attract more of. You don't need to visualize more money in your life every day. What you need to do is work on the stories and the emotions that the emotions that you're attaching to money and the stories that you're telling yourself. So the emotions that you're attaching to the stories around money. So for me, there was shame around my business not working when I had cancer. I had shame around not being able to run my business properly when I had cancer, and my company got into debt, and I couldn't really fully support myself. And I had shame on myself for that. And I've had to do a lot of digging to look at that shame, to be brave enough to say it on camera and tell you that I had shame around the fact that I couldn't, you know, I got cancer, I couldn't run a company properly, and, you know, for obvious reasons, and I ended up in some financial trouble because of that. And actually, when you look at it on paper and you write down the facts, it doesn't make me a bad person that I was ill. It doesn't make me a bad person that I couldn't work every day to the extent that I was doing before. It doesn't make, none of this makes me a bad person, but shame makes us believe that we are a bad person. That shame was already living within my body. I just attached it to money, and I attached it to the fact that I couldn't work. I attached how I believed about myself to my worth, to my money story. And this is what we so often do. Take a look at, I'm just going to be really stereotypical here and say, take a look at a businessman driving his Ferrari, and he has numerous successful businesses. He might have a property development company. He might have fingers in lots of investments, lots of, you know, money making pies, and he is so proud of himself. His ego is so inflated, and he is so happy with the money that he has coming into his life every day, because it means that he is a hard worker. It means that he's good at business. It means he's a great person. He is those things with or without money, but he's used money to share the story about himself, show people what he thinks of him, and, you know, like I say, it's unconscious. If you were to ask me this 3 years ago, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about. And, you know, if I was to ask this stereotypical businessman, he wouldn't really be conscious of what I'm saying. But the point is that we attach the things that we unconsciously believe about ourselves to stories that that our conscious mind tells ourselves around money. And this is what creates the highs and the lows of the money journey. So, I mean, I remember days where I was handed thousands of pounds worth of cash when I was creating engagement rings. And that meant that I was really successful that day. I was deserving of this. I was worthy of something when I was handed a load of cash. And then I believed that I was unworthy when I was ill and I couldn't work. And so I had that worthiness and lack of worthiness within me already, but I attached it to money, which then means in some way I blocked money and I blocked positive experience because I was so attached to my self-worth story being around money. And this is what's holding us back. These stories that we place around money are what's holding us back. The reality is that money is neutral. Money is neither good nor bad. Money is a tool. Money is a resource that we have available to us to live our life. Whether we want to live a rich, abundant, exciting, free life, or whether we want to live in lack, scarcity, and, working 9 to 5 for the man to, do whatever. However you choose to live this life, spend your money on holidays, spend your money on handbags, spend your money on helping other people. However you want to spend your money is fine. But it's that story that you place around spending the money. It's that story that you attach to money. People say money is the root of all evil. No, money is a neutral tool. It's a resource that we have available to help us live the life that we want. Most people are unconsciously choosing their life. Most people are following unconscious patterns and conditionings in how they live their life. Again, the beauty of making the unconscious conscious, doing your shadow work, going within, looking at your beliefs. Where have they come from? Why do I believe this? Who told me this? Questioning everything within yourself. That is when you're going to make the changes. But you need to drop the stories around money. You need to look into the stories, learn what they are, and drop them if you are ever going to be free and if you're ever going to live a limitless life, which is available to you. But you have to understand that putting a high, putting a low on money, on a money experience, yes, it might be pleasant or it might help us learn something, but we need to be aware that the stories that we're placing on money is what is holding us back from being our true abundant selves. And the only way you're going to do that is by going into your unconscious and journaling and writing it out and meditating on it and understanding what the conditionings that you have are. It's a complex thing. Because there is so much emotion based on this, but the emotion is what you have to heal. The emotion is what you have to fully feel in order to break free of these limitations that you have around money, break free of constantly feeling the money lows or constantly feeling the highs. It's the emotion underneath it that you have to feel. So for me, I had to feel that shame. There have been other circumstances where I've had to go in and feel the anger. There's been a situation before in my life where I've had something unfair has happened to me around money, and I've had to go in and look at that and look at why it's been created. What was my internal state in order to create that? Then what was my internal state when I was dealing with that? What was the story I was attaching to that? Or life's not fair, this isn't fair, this shouldn't be happening to me, I've had cancer, this shouldn't be happening to me. What's the story? And then keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And what's the emotion? What's the emotion underneath it? Anger. There's anger in there. There is an anger that I need to see and I need to get out and I need to release. I need to integrate that anger. And, I need to integrate that anger and accept that anger and be okay and love the anger and love myself anyway. Because we all have dark and light within us. We all have these emotions within us. Nobody can make you feel anything. Money can't make you feel angry. Money can't make you feel ecstatic. That is already within you. Money is just we just attach it to money so that we don't then have to take responsibility for it ourselves, which is a cop-out, right? We are the creators of our reality, so let's take responsibility and choose the life that we want to live. So I want to encourage you to really look at the highs and lows that you've experienced with money and question them. This is how you're going to start to make changes with money, is by questioning what the emotions are that you attach to money. And on Instagram this week, I've been speaking about how you feel when you look at your bank account. What is the feeling when you look at your bank account? Is it absolute terror? Is it that you want to stick your head in the sand and totally ignore your bank account? Is it that you don't want to pay the parking fine because you're terrified? Is it that you don't want to, I used to not want to open my emails in case there was something negative in there, negative around money. I used to avoid, I know people who avoid opening mail because they don't want to know what's in there. And I can guarantee a lot of it is is money related, because we're so conditioned to believe in lack. We're so conditioned to believe that there is not enough. And if you watch my YouTube video from Friday, we go into why that isn't true. Like, the only truth of the universe is abundance. And we're just not programmed to believe that. Yet I can sit here and look out of that window and see the abundant beauty of nature. And I can understand and tell you that, hey, guess what? Your nature too. Your nature, that abundance out there, is available to you as well. It's not just made for the trees and the flowers and the birds and the bees. It's made for us. We are, as humans, nature. We are part of this consciousness that is creating reality. We are all one. We are all part of this. Energy is infinite. We are energy. We just have complex human emotions. And no, it's not easy. This stuff isn't easy. Looking at emotion never is easy. There's a reason why it's stuck and repressed in our body, because it's so scary to our ego to deal with. But when you can start to feel the emotions that are hidden underneath your money stories, then you can create and manifest from a conscious place, from an exciting, free place. But while you're attaching stories to money, while you're attaching emotions to money and not taking responsibility for them yourself and not taking responsibility for changing them, they're going to keep on happening and you're going to keep suffering. So we all have highs and lows of money. We all have money stories. What is your story? What are your highs and what are your lows? And where do you need to make some changes? What do you want your money story to be? How do you want to feel about money? Like, go and have a look at it. Think about it. Don't shy away from it. This is what I'm so passionate about at the moment, is having a conversation around money. I went to dinner with a beautiful friend last night and we spoke about money and we spoke about shame, and it was a really powerful conversation, because those types of conversations are going to change the world. They're going to change your life. There's money for some reason is this big taboo subject. Why? We all have it in our lives. We all experience it. We all need it to survive. We all are deserving of infinite amounts of money being available to us, just because we're here to experience a full, passionate, exciting life. But the conditioning is that we're not here to experience that. But I challenge you, step up, go and look at it, go and create some freedom, get rid of your money shit. Everyone has money shit, but let's face it, because I tell you, I know that I was chasing money for a long time and I was miserable. And I thought that type of money was going to make me happy. And it didn't. I did the 6 figures. I've done the things. I've had the designer handbags. I've done it. And it wasn't created from a space of my higher self, so it made me miserable, it made me ill, chronic stress, severe anxiety. I've spoken about this before, I was miserable. It took my life turning upside down to realize that I was not that story and that I was not happy. It took my life completely falling away. I've been at points where I haven't even been able to afford shopping, food, a basic human need, a basic human right. We all the right to be able to eat a healthy, nutritious meal. I couldn't afford that at one point. I've been in so much debt that it's been crippling at points. But we get to change that. We get to create a new story. We get to, and none of that was money's fault. It wasn't money's fault that I couldn't afford food. It was my mind. My mind created that. And it doesn't make my mind bad. It doesn't make me bad. It's just conditioning and programming that we can change. So yes, there are highs in life of money. Yes, there are lows in life of money. But let's remove the stories. Let's look into the stories. Let's go underneath and into the emotion. Feel the emotion in your body. Love the emotion. It just wants to be seen. And the more you ignore it, the louder it screams. So look at it, listen to it, love it, and consciously choose to create a new story and just see what happens, because it is so, so powerful. And this is why I've created this group coaching program. And when I talk about it and when I think about it, I am so excited by it, because I'm being given an opportunity to help anybody who wants to join change their money story forever. It's an 8-week group coaching program, wealthy, wild and free, and I love it because it's like, who doesn't want to be wealthy and free? And this is our nature. This is our truth, really, but we don't allow ourselves to feel it because of the programming. And it takes a rebel, it takes a wild soul to want to change their money story. It takes a wild soul to want to create their life their way. So we're wealthy, wild and free, and it's so powerful. We go into the unconscious mind. We're learning the truth of abundance and the truth of money and the truth of the universe. This is a spiritual self-discovery journey. And we face your unique money shadow. If you don't know what shadow work is, I have some videos on my YouTube channel. But we go and face your unique money shadow, the parts about money, the stories, the emotions that you've repressed and that you've pushed away. We face that and we change that and we love it, and we face your unique challenges and problems around money. And then from a place of wholeness, from a place of truth, from a place of your highest self, we create. And this is when you can begin to consciously create your life. This is not a money manifestation course. Unless you're dealing with the unconscious mind, yeah, you might hit you might hit an energetic frequency that is a quantum leap and it might work. However, until you face the unconscious, you will not be able to manifest the type of money that you think you want. So, not a money manifestation course. However, being able to manifest money from a whole place of wholeness and truth will be a byproduct of the work that you do in this program. So it's life-changing. I'll stop rabbiting on about it, but it is life-changing. From what I've seen, the conversations I've had from the work that I do, I know that this stuff will change your life. So I don't know if any of this has made any sense, but I really hope that we have been able to, I hope that this conversation has been able to help you think about money and understand that if you're going through money shit, money highs or money lows, you're not alone. We've all experienced it and we get to change it. We get to write a new story. If you're interested in joining Wealthy, Wild and Free, we're beginning at the end of July, and it will be an 8-week group coaching program, as I mentioned, and it's all held on Zoom, one-on-one with me. I'm your guide. I will guide you through. I will help you I will help you make your unconscious money shit conscious, and we can change it, and that's so exciting. So the link to learn more and apply is in the link below, and it's application only because you have to be serious to want to do this. You have to have that wild edge. You have to be serious in order to want to do this. This isn't easy work. This is deep inner work that will ultimately change your life. I've been speaking to people who are applying who have done the money stuff or have done the mindset work. This is so much more than mindset work. Mindset work is like polishing a turd. We're going deep. We're going deep into the turd and cleansing from within. So mindset work doesn't scratch the surface in comparison to what we're about to do in this program. So yeah, application only, and we can have a chat. You can apply, we can have a chat. It's like really informal. I just want to know that you're in. Basically, I want to know that you're in and you're going to play full out. So let's, link below. Let's catch up. And I hope that you have an amazing week. If you took anything away from this, if you resonated with this in any way, if you're facing something, drop a comment, connect with me on Instagram. Let's have a chat. And here's to being wealthy, wild and free.